What is up? It is another episode of the Hoof podcast, man. And I think we all got the feels in some sort of type of way this week. You know, I'm your host Sterling. I got my guy Anthony Romeo NY over here up top, and we got my guy Eric Brown.
What up?
Goody? What's goody? What's going on, man?
Still dancing, still celebrating, still walking on air, you know, strutting into work, strutting by my friends, strutting to all my fellow NFL fans.
I got the Mitch Trubisky dance moves going on, just a little uncomfortable head nod, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck in that mode.
You got the Money Mitch going on. Hey, the boy cannot dance.
Paul knows what's up. That's right, Sterling. Remember, I reeled you in. I got you to do it. You were like, I'm doing it, picking the Bills. Let's go.
I'm trying to fix my banner right now. You know, that's what I'm trying to do, actually.
Don't
banner problems.
Too much excitement.
Been there before.
Even the banner's got the energy today.
I don't even know what's going on. It's all like cricket. I'm like OCD like that. Like, for real. I'm and part of the show, I'm gonna tell you right now, I might have to take myself out for a second and fix it because I can't handle it. You know, I'm OCD like that. But anyways, welcome to the Hoof Live podcast. This is the Cover One Network, and we are excited to be here tonight to talk about these Bills and everything that's going on around the NFL that is noteworthy. That's noteworthy. So make sure, if you haven't already, like, follow, and subscribe to Cover One and the Hoof podcast. We would appreciate it. You know, these kind of things help us. It helps us do what we do. You know what I'm saying? So we got lots to talk about tonight, y'all. I mean, it's crazy. But before we do that, I'm gonna do some honorable mentions here. Paul is in the house, says go Bills. Jason's up in here, says the Bills were the more complete team, and it wasn't even close. And we're gonna get into the big game.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Mr. Blue, this team reminds me of the 85 Bears. I can't go there on that. Day Trooper says, let's go Buffalo. This team is legit. Legit. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Charles in the house, humble and starving. Not humble and hungry. My guy is humble and starving. God dang, boy. Jason, the homie. Jason, the Cover One boys. That's right. Yes, sir. Cover One in the house. You know, we keep it real over here. Hey, so anyway. Men in the kitchen. Men in the kitchen. Thank you for being tonight. I wanted to holler at you, by the way. Number one team in the NFL, no doubt. Yes, sir. We're going to get into that Puka. Smoking on Puka the third. Go Bills. Abso-freaking-lutely. So anyway, Charles G says we're going to talk Gruden tonight. Nah. I want to keep the vibes in here strong. I was telling Eric, I ain't even going to mention John Gruden. We're going to keep positive. We're going to keep moving tonight. But, you know, next week,
ride the high.
I'll give my takes on John Gruden next week.
That's right. We got time next week.
Because y'all already know I'm going to get on him. I got some shit to talk about John Gruden. But we ain't going to do that tonight because, you know what? Man, I want to keep the vibes up. You know, we got a lot to talk about. So, with that being said tonight, you know, if this is your first time being on the show, we kind of do things a little bit different. You know, we have segmented parts, and what we're going to do right now is we're going to go around the NFL, and this is the part of the show where we like to talk about the latest and greatest from around the league, and we call this part of the show What's Poppin'. This is our graphic. This is what's going on. So not just Bills, but we're talking the league in general. I come up with these topics myself that my guys do not know what I'm going to say, and we're just going to kind of go from there, keep it moving. So a real quick side note before we jump into What's Poppin', we are doing our jersey giveaway tonight. All right, we picked a winner. And then what we'll do is we'll reset, and then we'll do our next 4 weeks. So we're gonna do that tonight. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's kick this thing going, man. You guys ready for this?
Let's go, baby. We got lots to talk. I mean, the energy is just high. I'm high as a kite with the energy.
All right. So the LA Chargers. They beat the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
47-42. And Baker Mayfield is getting some criticism. Okay. So this was one of those games that you had circled we knew both of these teams would be pretty good. I mean, the Chargers kind of emerged out of nowhere in a sense, right? But we do know that Justin Herbert has been one of those guys that's kind of been blowing up, even as of last year. Some people will tell you that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I would tend to agree, even though he's in his second year. But, it was a shootout, and both these teams, you would think going into the season that these would be two teams that would have good defenses. And on Sunday, and I would say that the test of the season so far, they haven't really shown to be as good defensively as they once thought they would be. Now, the Chargers, they do have some players over there, just like Cleveland. You got guys like Derwin James, Joey Bosa, and then Cleveland, you got Myles Garrett, and they got some young pieces over there as well in the back end. So, but the defenses were trash in this game, and it wasn't just because of stellar quarterback play. Justin Herbert comes into the game 26-43, 398, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. I mean, that's a good stat line to me. But
50 fantasy points he put up, by the way. Yeah. Insane.
Yeah, so if you had Justin Herbert, which I do,
oh my God.
He cleaned up. In one league. Baker Mayfield, on the other hand, though, 23-32, he had 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. So
what did I tell you?
Baker's getting criticism. And Baker even himself said he's not playing up to standards. So I want your guys' opinions first. So, Eric, why don't you go ahead and lead us off?
No. Baker Mayfield question. Baker Mayfield question. No way you're not coming up to me.
Hold on. That's why I'm coming to you last, because the best opinion is going to go last.
All right.
We already know your opinion. You tell us every week. No, but I'll say, Baker's on a really good team. I don't know what is going on with OBJ and Baker Mayfield, but something is not okay right now between those two guys. They're not on the same page. I saw the little shot on the sideline. Baker's talking to the crew, and OBJ's just kind of looking at him, scowling. So, I mean, something is not okay there. But this Cleveland Browns team together, I think, putting up 42 points against a worthy opponent. I mean, give them credit. They are a premier team in the AFC. And back to Baker Mayfield, he should be criticized right now because Josh Allen had a career day. Lamar Jackson has a career day. You got Joe Burrow's looking good. You got, Justin Herbert looking great. But what about Baker Mayfield? This guy has expectations being drafted number 1 overall. And we're getting to the point now where it's starting to not work out for him, right? Is he going to get the big contract? We don't know, but you don't like to see games like this in those types of seasons.
Yep, and this is textbook what I said about Baker Mayfield in the preseason when we had, our Cleveland coverage guy on, and we talked all things Baker Mayfield. And what did I say on that show that Sterling jumped all over me for? I think the Browns win when they don't rely on Baker Mayfield and they do what they do best, which is run the ball and play a little bit of defense. In this game, they relied on Baker Mayfield. He scored 2 touchdowns. He got 305 yards. On paper, it looks like he had a decent game. But guess what? They lost because they relied on Baker Mayfield. That's the way it goes with this guy. He is not an elite quarterback. He is average at best because of what I just said. He can have what looks like a good day, and his team loses. And it's got to go through him. He is always better. They win when he has lines that are like, he's completed 9 of 15 passes for 1 touchdown and 250 yards. They win. But then you get something like this. He throws the ball 40 times, and they don't win. This is clearly a defensive problem, obviously, because you can't give up 47 points and expect to win shit. So, I mean, you can't give up that many points and expect to win.
But hold on. So my guy, there's some certain people in my life that are special to me. And Joe Miller, I love that guy. Joe Miller's my dude. I don't care what nobody says. Joe Miller's my guy, but he says, hey, I met Anthony Romeo. He autographed my breast.
Yeah. Sounds like he's cheating on you.
At the home opener. Sterles was there. So, I mean, I can neither confirm or deny, but Joe may be on to something here. Okay. But to your point about Baker Mayfield, all I was wanting to do was say that he's a decent to good quarterback.
That's
not one of the league's best. However,
does that mean average, decent to good?
He's good. He's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback, right? I think there's average to bad, bad. There's good, and then you have a couple other tiers, right?
Right. Average to above.
He's in there. He's in there, and there's no question that Baker is not. I hope that he gets better. We're not seeing that early in the season. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's one of those things where, he wants to be seen as one of these top quarterbacks. And when you're in a room with guys like Myles Garrett, who's one of the top defensive end in the league, when you're talking to Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, these guys are elite players, right? And as a quarterback, you want to be an elite player. So I don't know if it's, and we know the kind of guy, so you have to put the context of the kind of guy that Baker Mayfield is. He's a competitor. He's one of those guys that the chip on his shoulder. So those kind of things chips away at guys like him. So maybe it's a lot of pressure that he's feeling. Josh Allen got a contract. We know Lamar's going to get a big contract. You're seeing these guys get contracts that were drafting the same draft class as you, and you haven't got a contract yet. And I think that those are kind of things that bother him. So maybe he's pressing some, he's just not playing great.
Nailed it right here. He's not elevating anyone. He's not bringing his team up, right? Josh Allen makes people around him better. Justin Herbert makes his team better. Baker Mayfield doesn't do that. He just does what he does. I mean, it's good enough to win games, but it's not good enough to be the guy to win games.
We've been talking about this since 2018. We're at the point now where what you see is what you got.
Exactly.
And what we see with Baker Mayfield is, I think he hit his ceiling maybe last season, right? I don't think there is any more room for him to grow. He's got the players around him. I think he has the head coach now with the offensive system, and you're still seeing the same Baker. Yep. And the difference between Baker and the other guys outside of Josh Rosen, outside of Sam Darnold, is he just doesn't have the physical ability when you compare him to Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, right? And we knew that all along. I think he's drafted to come in, control the game, be kind of a manager type player. I mean, that's what he is. And I think that's exactly what you're seeing now.
Yeah.
But
they need him to be more. But
right. And the blame doesn't go fully on Baker's shoulders. Yeah, again, right. Your defense, you put up 42 points. Your defense puts up 47. I mean, come on. Yeah. Where does that come from?
Hoof.
Also, miss me on the whole Chargers are competing with the Bills to be the best team in the AFC because you just gave up 42 points.
Hold on, because we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Save it. All right, here we go. Moving on. Here we go. Baltimore edges Indy 31-25 in overtime. Lamar Jackson, peep this stat line, 37 of 43 for 442 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, I'll be the first to say, in some respects, in terms of passing the ball, I've been very critical of Lamar Jackson, not seeing the progression, as far as, processing the game pre and post snap, right? Fitting balls into tight windows. Those are things, throwing guys open. Anticipatory passes is what I'm talking about. I haven't really been seeing that. And so last night on Monday Night Football, they came back from 19 points down and they got a win, and he played phenomenal. And so I'm going to eat crow or give credit to where it's due. Lamar Jackson balled out. Yeah. He's playing like an MVP caliber player again. He's something to watch out for. So I always try to keep it real, but Lamar Jackson's having a great season. And what are you guys, Anthony? We'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on that game last night?
Ooh, I think you said it best. Coming into this game, I wholeheartedly expected Baltimore to win handedly, and I was like, okay, they're going to win this game pretty easily. Not a super high scoring game, but, they'll have control and maybe Indy will score a couple times. Complete opposite happened, right? Indy had a huge lead, and this is the opposite of what we were just talking about, Baker. One guy on that team, the Baltimore Ravens, lifted his entire team and said, guys, we're down a lot, but guess what? We're winning this game. We are still in this, and I am going to win this game for us. I'm going to do everything I can. Let's get out there and bring it back. And he did. And now he, like you said, that was an MVP caliber game when one guy, Lamar Jackson, did everything in this game. 440 passing yards. I didn't think he was capable of putting up those kind of numbers with this offense just because they run the ball so much, right? That's their strength. But they found a way to get it done. And granted, when you're down by a lot of points, obviously you're going to be passing more than you're running. And he proved, to Sterling's point, that he can do it that way when a lot of us doubters and haters on him say, he just relies on his run, He's certainly excellent at that and can do it with his feet when he does. Majority of the time he does, but in this game, he showed he could do it with his arm as well. Granted, it was against Indy's defense, who hasn't quite looked up to their standards over the first few games of the season, but still, there's no taking away from that stat line. I mean, he brought that team back from a huge deficit to win the game, and firmly on his shoulders. I mean, I was excited
in prime time. That's huge.
Yeah,
Derrick,
I'm not even a fan, but I mean, I was excited for him watching it.
I mean, there's a lot of chatter about Lamar Jackson in the offseason. It's a contract year. Is he a franchise guy? Do you want to give him the big contract? Does he deserve the Josh Allen type numbers? J.K. Dobbins goes down. They have 3 other running backs go down. I thought that's the strength of their team, right? But I think I've been more impressed with Lamar Jackson than any other quarterback this year because he is overcoming that original game plan of we're going to run J.K. Dobbins, mix it with Lamar. They had to reinvent that entire thing, and they're still winning big games, right? Lamar Jackson's putting the team on his back, and he's carrying them, and they've beat some good teams. They beat Kansas City, right? I mean, this Colts team, they were down 3 scores at one point. I think it was going in the fourth quarter. They were down 2 scores. I mean, that's they're down 16, so they needed 2 extra points too. So, I mean, it says a lot about his character. I think if you ask me today, is he that franchise type guy? Pay the man. God, what else do you need to see?
Yeah, I mean, he's proven that he's the top guy in this league, and want to definitely give him credit. We got a super chat here. It says, not to distract you, but do you have plans to talk about special teams play, and specifically Isaiah McKenzie? Yeah, we will talk about that in our Bills briefing when we go over the game. But thank you for supporting the show, Angus Cons. And those of you out there, yes, super chats do definitely they get first priority. So let me kind of extrapolate on Isaiah McKenzie. Special teams play from a coverage standpoint is great. Saran Neal, big play on Sunday. Isaiah McKenzie, I when I saw the rain come down, I was like, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little scared. Having him back there returning kicks.
Got a history.
He's got a history of fumbling balls. Yeah. And he coughed one up. Kickoff. And so honestly, if you really want me to be honest, I would love to see Marquez Stevenson activated off of IR and have him give it. I think he's a more natural returner, both kick and punt, than Isaiah McKenzie. I think he gives you a little bit more upside there. And I'm not just talking about just because he returned a kick in preseason, but if you go back to Houston, I mean, what he's able to do in the return game, I think is huge. So I know McKenzie has a little bit more experience there, but I think Marquez Stevenson, in terms of reading, blocking, and finding open space, I think they both do a good job. But I want to see a little bit more ball security, because I think those are the things that can come back and haunt you later in the season, in the playoffs.
I think he gets the benefit of the doubt because of the rain. It was downpouring, right? And he's been good up to this point, in my opinion. I think we were worried about that early, but I mean, McKenzie's been doing a great job as a returner. The Bills right now, number 1 in average starting field position, starting at the 34. I think mix that with the plus 11 turnover ratio, that helps a lot. But McKenzie definitely plays a part in that, whether it's big or small. It is definitely a part.
Absolutely. So, no, we appreciate all the support, and make sure, if you haven't already, like, follow, and subscribe to the Hoof Podcast and Cover One Network. We would appreciate it. And our last topic, and what's popping, NFL power rankings through week 5. So, all right. So, according to ESPN, okay, this is their top 5. At number 5, they have the Packers. At number 4, they got Tampa. Number 3, they got the Rams. Number 2, they got Arizona. And number 1, they have the Buffalo Bills. Now, I want you guys' opinion on that. Now, I think there's something to be said for Dallas to be in there. I think Dallas is really damn good right now, and I would venture to say they're probably better than the Packers or the Rams. I would throw Tampa probably number 2. Arizona's probably 4 or 5 if you ask me. But what do you guys? How those power rankings sit you? Obviously, the Bills being number 1. Maybe you guys disagree with that. What are your thoughts on that? Anthony, we'll start with you there.
I think the Bills at this point have earned that number 1 spot. We had this discussion 2 weeks ago when we said, okay, maybe 1 is somebody else, but 2 is definitely the Bills. And now they've beaten Kansas City, who was the original favorite coming into the season. They've shown continual consistency against opponent after opponent over this last 4 weeks. I mean, the Bills are the team to beat. There's no question about that. I posted about it on Twitter and Facebook. This is a brand new feeling for us Bills fans, and it's amazing because there's no two ways around it. Even my friends who hate the Bills and always bash me, they're like, you know what? They are the team to beat now. It's a weird thing to say, but we are the team to beat. So I think putting us at 1 is inevitable. The rest of it, you're right. There is some discussion to be had. Arizona, do we really know what that team is yet? They're undefeated, but their offense looked a little stagnant, and then it was like, okay, is this the real team? And I don't trust them. I mean, in the beginning of the season, I don't have them winning that division. I have the Rams winning that division. The Rams in the top 5, I think they definitely belong there because of the strength of their offense, and they're obviously good on defense as well. Tampa, I mean, they've been putting a whooping on their lesser opponents, but again, there's that game against New England that kind of makes you raise an eyebrow because New England looks like crap this year. So I'm not sure. I agree that Dallas could be in the conversation here. They look dominant in their few games, and now they're healthy, and I think that's a big factor. If you can stay healthy, they're going to compete in the NFC as well. And the Packers, I mean, that game against the Bengals this weekend, they did not look good in that game. Their play calling did not look good. Nothing about it impressed me, and I was like,
the kicker didn't look good, that's for sure.
The kicker, I was cursing at the TV when they went 4th and inches. Your kicker's already missed 3 times, and you don't go for it? Like, are you stupid? I mean, I was just like, you're trying to lose this game, and you're lucky you won it because the other kicker missed 2. But, yeah, I mean, it was just bad stuff all around. I'm not confident in this Packers team at this point. I would probably put Dallas above them. Tampa definitely belongs there. Arizona, And, in the AFC, it's the Bills at 1 for sure. And that's why I think the Bills are number 1 overall.
I mean, it's easy to look at the statistics and say, yeah, the Bills are certainly number 1. But the way I like to do it is, who have they beaten? Which teams have beat the best teams? I think I want to say Arizona has the upper hand in that argument just because their division is so tough. Mm-hmm. They've beat the Rams. They've beat the 49ers, who are a good team. I get it, rookie quarterback. But anytime you play Kyle Shanahan, it's challenging. But and the Bills, like, are the Kansas City Chiefs really good? We don't know. They've lost 3 games now. At this point in the season, after going 2
they're not in the playoffs.
I don't know if you can count them as the dominant team that the Bills beat. Obviously, the Bills had this one marked on the calendar. Us as fans had it marked on the calendar. But go back and look who the Bills have played. They lost to the Steelers team, who came out kind of slow, right? I think they're figuring it out now. They definitely, got lucky with the punt block and things like that. But Tua gets injured. You got a backup quarterback in Miami. You get Davis Mills, not the good Davis Mills, the bad Davis Mills. I mean, a Washington football team with Fitzpatrick down. I mean, they're not playing well. Look at strength of schedule. That's the only argument to say the Bills are not number 1. But any other arena, I think they're certainly number 1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. The Bills deserve to be number 1. They deserve to be where they are right now, and because you have to look at. I mean, you can't control who you play, but I think you can control how you dominate. Right? You can control the outcomes of these games, and I think what the Bills have been able to do, not from a homer standpoint, but they're dominating these games. It doesn't matter. It's one thing where when you're favored by 17 points to beat the Houston Texans, and you beat them by 40. And when you're a 3-point underdog and you win by 18 points in Kansas City on the road, that's huge. That's a big deal. So I don't care what people say. It's like this. I know Kansas City was 2-2 coming into that game, right? But it was more. It's more than just a record. It's for what Kansas City stands for. It's they are the top dog in the AFC, and they beat you last year.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, they're the reason why you didn't get a Super Bowl berth. And it's a mental thing, mental hurdle that I think was huge for the Bills. So they did it. When was the last time we said that, outside of in the playoffs, but like when the Bills, like they got that game that they needed, like against the Patriots with Brady. That's what Kansas City felt like. It felt like beating Tom Brady as a New England Patriot. And I think that's something that we can't like poo-poo that. Like, it's a big deal. I don't care what people say about the Chiefs defense. Well, they had all off season just like the Bills did, and they chose not to do nothing to their defense. That's not my problem. When you invest all that money in your offensive line, great, but the Bills.
Right.
The Bills were the freaking bully, and we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into all that right now, actually. So why don't we just go ahead and do this? Let's go ahead and head to the inside slant. This is where we talk about our Buffalo Bills and what's been popping, what's been scrapulating, what's been going on from Sunday night's debacle and freaking Kansas City. This is the inside slant, and we're going to get this thing going on. So we're gonna do our 3 takeaways, right? We're going to do that, but man, can't look.
Air Allen, baby. Air Allen.
Look, I just, this is not a film review, but let's take a look at a few things here. We see Josh Allen. This is a 3rd and 4, okay, and the magical drive. We're gonna get to that later, but I'm just gonna point some things out here. Look at, is Josh Allen holding his ball sacks right now? Like, he looks fantastic. Look at 38. 38, just he is.
Nobody wants to be in that position.
Bro, I don't know if he's baling hay. I don't know if he's doing Ohio. I don't know what's going on, man. And 51 is just in awe. He just like, damn, bro, like, you jumping like a Negro right now. Like, and Josh Allen's like, hell yeah, dude. Like, look at me, dog. Like, yeah, I just jumped over your dude. And Zach Moss is just like, bruh, like,
Zach, you could block somebody,
bro.
He's busy admiring. He's admiring
Josh Allen. Josh Allen Josh Allen only completed 15 passes for 315 yards and 4 touchdowns. But Josh Allen made Patrick Mahomes his little biatch.
Yes.
He made the Chiefs his little biatch on Sunday Night Football. You know what? And I'm gonna pump my chest on this because I'm happy. Like, I don't care about being politically correct. Like, Josh Allen made you his biatch on Sunday Night Football. And you know, as Bills fans, we're going to flex on that right now because we're all freaking excited, okay? Yeah. Like, look, I watched the game downtown, okay? And there's a Chiefs fan. Hey, I don't know why. Shit. Why would you come to a Bills bar to watch the game knowing you're a Chiefs fan? Why would you do that? Don't come Don't come over here and try to shake my hand, sir. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Look, Patriots fans and Chiefs fans, during the game, don't come talk to me. Just stay where you at, because I don't want to hear it. Because I'm telling you, if we lose, you're gonna catch an elbow, you're gonna catch Knight and Quill, you're gonna catch a combo, because I ain't having it. Yeah. Okay, that's how passionate I am about this team and about when they play them fools. But Josh Allen, man, look, and the media is not giving him any credit. They're not giving him enough credit. Okay, that sounded like Donald Trump. Any credit? Hey, but they're not, and they're sleeping on my guy. When can Josh get the credit he deserves? He did not have a completion percentage that was worthy of people just like, oh my God, like he wasn't 37 to 43, but what he was able to do in limited offensive snaps, that to me is something to talk about. So
every single pass, the completions were, I'd say the bomb to Stephon Diggs, that should have been a touchdown. He underthrew it just a hair. Stephon Diggs had to come back for it. Should have been a touchdown. But regardless, it was a 50-yard play. It didn't need to be a touchdown, but it was an awesome pass still because it was completed. Throwing the ball deep, completed. Throwing the ball short, bam. He was hitting all his targets. Every pass was precision, was artistry by Josh Allen. The touchdown pass to Emmanuel Sanders through 2 defenders, the zing on that ball to literally go through a narrow window right to Emmanuel Sanders. That was incredible. This was the best I've ever seen Josh Allen look throwing the ball accurately. He was doing whatever the hell he wanted. All the praise that Pat Mahomes gets for being this guy who won the MVP. Granted, we know that Josh Allen statistically last season blew Pat Mahomes' MVP season out of the water, but there happened to be another quarterback who did a little bit better and set all sorts of records in Aaron Rodgers. But Pat Mahomes gets all the praise because he won the Super Bowl, and he should. He won a Super Bowl, and the Bills haven't. But Josh Allen looked 100 times better at whatever I've seen Pat Mahomes do. Anything that I've seen Pat Mahomes do. Last night, Josh Allen looked better at it. And I don't care which way you want to say, his arm strength. No, Josh Allen's arm strength. Oh, his accuracy. No, Pat Mahomes threw the ball in the dirt 4 times. Josh Allen was zinging passes to his receivers.
Yeah. I love that they beat him at their own game. That puts the cherry on the cake.
Strolling out. We just saw the picture of him jumping over a defender. I was getting so pissed off at the announcing crew, which maybe we'll talk about later. But, Chris Collinsworth absolutely being obsessed with Pat Mahomes and only seeing Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs and trying to make excuse after excuse. But after that jump play, I was like, can Pat Mahomes do that, motherfucker? Come on. Yeah, no, he can't do that.
Pat Mahomes' credit, how many times have we seen the Chiefs come back from 2 scores, right? It's almost like they let teams take leads and then come back and win the game. So we were all waiting for that, especially after Josh's wild play, negative 20 yards, right? We're still seeing some of that, but the momentum really swung on that play.
It was unfreaking.
It really did.
Something to bring up for sure.
And while we're at it, can we just talk about the signature moment? I know that was going to be third in the takeaways, but one of the takeaways is we needed. The Bills had 3 consecutive, 3-and-outs, right? The Bills needed. It was fourth quarter. They needed a drive. They needed something because the Chiefs were kind of nipping at their feet. Now the game was never in question. But the Chiefs were kind of nipping at their feet. And what Josh Allen was able to do, this is why you have to consider Josh Allen one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Because these are the kind of drives that make you one of the top quarterbacks, is when it's your back's against the wall and you need an answer. You need a solution. And everybody's looking at you. And what did Josh Allen freaking do? He had 7 freaking first downs. Incredible. In the fourth quarter on one drive. 7.
Precision.
Just 7. And the drive, the whole drive took 7 minutes and 51 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they dominated time of possession in the fourth quarter, up in the 11 minutes or so.
And they finished. They got a touchdown.
I was going to save this for a takeaway, but really Josh Allen's ability won this game.
Yes.
Right? 5 for 6, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns on passes over 20 yards.
Incredible.
It's talent and ability. The corners thought they had enough distance, right? But the ball would sail over their head, right? Because the time of possession was similar between both teams, the Chiefs and the Bills. They were similar on third down percentage, similar in total yards. But really the difference was red zone percentage, Josh Allen scoring in the red zone, and then Josh Allen's big plays. He wins the game.
If you look at the first downs, Bills had 20, Chiefs had 29. Net yards gained, Bills 436, Chiefs 392. Rushing yards, the Bills had more rushing yards at 121, Chiefs had 120. Net passing yards 315 to 272. Look at this, man. No sacks given up. No sacks. Chiefs gave up 2 sacks. Penalties. Now we're going to talk about the penalties, but man, that shout out to the Bills media team there. I took that off of Twitter and decided to put that in there. But we all saw it. This game was never in question. It was never in question. The Bills came out and for the first time, they took an opponent that was you're supposed to lose to, and they bullied them.
Yes.
The Buffalo, let that sink in for a minute. The Buffalo Bills went to Arrowhead and they bullied, not beat. They bullied the Kansas City Chiefs. And on the fourth quarter, Micah Hyde on the sideline, I don't know if y'all read his lips, but he goes, "How about them Bills now?" I had a tear. I was ready to run through a freaking wall because
let's go.
How about them damn Bills? How about them? I'm gonna talk my shit tonight.
Look at the criticisms, right? How can you criticize? Oh, it's a primetime game and it's Josh Allen and the pressure. Will he come out under pressure, or will the Bills be able to step up under pressure? You're damn right they did once again. That narrative is dead and gone. All right. What about the fact that we're playing in Arrowhead Stadium, something Josh Allen himself called the most intense environment he's ever played in competitively, because the crowd gets loud and they're into it. And I've been to a game there and it is really loud. And I was really impressed with the fan base there. Not their tailgating, but definitely how loud they got in the stadium.
And not the chicken wings.
I'm telling you, they don't even know what those are. But yeah, it's the ribs they make, right?
Yeah.
It was,
fair substitute.
Every narrative you can think of is smushed to death in prime time on national television. Sterling, this is why I was hyping you up at the end of the show last week, saying you got to pick the Bills because it's prime time. It's Josh Allen's time. This is where we step up and take control. And that is exactly what they did. and it feels so damn good.
So let me ask you this:
go ahead.
Do the Bills play the Chiefs in the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Are the Chiefs going to make the playoffs?
Chiefs don't make the playoffs.
And guess what?
They're down 2 games in their division on every team.
I don't care. Give me the Chiefs in Buffalo, and let's talk about it now, because I'm telling you right now, they're scared. Look, I don't care.
Don't want to play here.
And I know people are like, well,
that was in Arrowhead.
Dude, I'm telling you, if the Bills play the Chiefs 10 times, the Bills will beat them at least 7 times. Like they're that much of a better football team right now. Yes. And I got a couple other notes that we're going to get into.
The Chiefs defense is not good. Are they going to make the playoffs? If they continue to play like that, it's going to be close. They're a wild card at best, right? I mean, there's only one team that gets a bye now, but I mean, they're not going to have a home game.
Right. Hold on.
If they continue to play like that.
No, super chat here. Jason says, crowd noise. Yeah. Josh Allen haters in shambles. Man.
Right. He can only play if it's quiet in the stadium. No fans, right?
People want to come up with all kind of narratives to say Josh Allen what he cannot do.
Yeah.
It's like if Josh Allen wears Hanes or jockey for his damn jock strap, they say, well, he can't do it because his balls don't have enough air. Like if the man wears shorts that are not long enough, like he can't do. I mean, it's like, oh my God! Like, how many excuses are you going to come up with? Josh Allen can't hear because he's got the earwax is coming out of his ear and is dripping on his ear pad. Like, who freaking cares? Like, Josh Allen is that dude. Everybody needs to give that man some credit. But this is what I wanted to bring up real quick. And did y'all Saran Neal look? Saran Neal came out there like he was from the hood, bro. He came out there on Kelsey like he done took his peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He took it out the refrigerator.
70-30 or 60-40 peanut butter
He came in there and was like, bro, not only did you take my sandwich before, but you cut that shit in half, and I don't like that. My mama cut it diagonally, bro. He came out there and he jacked Kelsey up, bro. He came up there and stuck him hard. I don't care if he held, but he came out and told Kelsey, not today, bro. You can do all that fucking dancing and shit. Not today.
Credit to Eric during our group chat before the game. The three of us were talking a little bit, and what did you say, Eric? Like, I don't care if they get penalties. I don't care what. You got to be physical with Tyreek Hill. You got to be physical.
You got to hit him a couple times, right?
And that's exactly what they did. They didn't care. They were blowing them up, man. They were hitting them. They were getting physical.
The defensive game plan, which we'll get to, was phenomenal.
Yeah, yes. But that's part of it. Yeah, those guys were roughed up all game long, start to finish. It was incredible to see. And a bunch of those yards came in garbage time at the end of the game, by the way, for Kansas City and them. Granted, they were getting their yards, and they had 4 turnovers, which we didn't talk about yet, but that is a huge factor in this game as well. Each one of them was kind of key in a key moment where Kansas City was going to score, or it gave the Bills good field position. But still, I mean, this game was all Bills.
Plus terrible officiating. I mean, some of those calls are just crazy. But 17 total penalties in that game. Why are you trying to do that to us? Somebody
needs to put together a montage of the calls. The holding against Mitch Morse. I mean, he literally didn't even there's holding. You could call holding on every play.
Right.
There was no aspect of the block that looked like holding. I'm like, there's literally nothing there that you can call, and yet you threw a flag. It was honestly, it felt like, third down, Pat Mahomes didn't get it. Holding or pass interference.
One thing I had on that was, Ed Oliver gets the roughing the passer call by grabbing Pat Mahomes' ankle, which I thought the rules you had to, hit him low, not just touch the ankle. But then, this very same game, Nick Bolton's grabbing Josh Allen's ankle and he's running and twisting it. Yeah. So, why is that rule even in place if you can just do it on a run? And plus, it's like, I don't think that was the use of the rule. I think you're supposed to run in and hit low, not necessarily just grab the leg, right? I was confused on that one, but not a good look for the league.
No, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best look, and the officiating was it was bad. It was awful, and the announcing was terrible. The announcing was so terrible. I don't even know what to say. Like, it was just bad. And
I haven't been that mad at a Bills game in a long time, but I was physically angry, as somebody said. I was jumping off my couch, cursing at the TV because
don't you do that every week?
No matter what we did,
throw the challenge flag.
No matter what we did, they were praising Mahomes and making excuses and all of that. Even at the end of the game, well, let's remember Chris Collinsworth here. The Chiefs were playing without their best defensive player and without their cornerback. And freaking Al Michaels goes, the Bills just played the game without Matt Milano, arguably their best defensive player right now. So there's injuries on all teams. It was like, finally, shut the freak up.
Let me tell you, this is when everything changed right there. Look at that.
Bam. Oh, love
it. Look at that. Yeah. That's when everything changed, man. Jordan Poyer, that dude has been murdering people. And we talk about Tremaine getting bodies. Jordan Poyer has been lighting folks up. And I know he got a penalty on that, and he didn't even try to take him out. But did y'all notice when Kelsey got up, he was like, y'all, I'm done. I done got my ass whooped.
Nailed it in.
You know when you watch somebody get their ass whooped and they just get up and they're just like, you know what, man? Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm out of here. That was Travis Kelsey on Sunday. Hey, he was like, you know what? Hey, thank you, fella. I'm out of here.
Have a nice day.
Hey, I'm out of here, guys. And it was fantastic. So the Bills established dominance. They were physical. A couple notes on the defense. You know, I know there was a lot of talk about the Bills, you know, with the cover 2 shell, right? For one, the Bills only blitzed one time. They blitzed one time out of the entire game. So we did see a lot of zone coverage. But here's something I want to show you guys, that the Bills, not only where they do a cover 2 shell, but, you know, on critical downs, you saw some of this right here. You saw some man coverage, okay? I grabbed this off of the old television today, but this is a 3rd and 4, man. And you see Tremaine Edmonds there on he's spying Mahomes. And look at the defensive line there, getting pressure with 4. That was the whole game plan. That was the whole offseason plan. And you know how last year we talked about how the Bills weren't able to match up with Kansas City because they had too much speed. Well, we have the same personnel in the back end. However, we have a consistent pass rush. They were able to get Patrick Mahomes off his spot consistently, down after down after down. And when you're able to do that, you can disguise coverage. You can sit back in zones, but also you can step up and you can play man coverage. Right. And this is some of the things. This is what they were able to do in some reps, man. And that right there tells you the growth of the defense, man, from a coverage standpoint, and also, man, but what the impact that the defensive line has.
Yes, having Star back again. Star had one play that they showed on replay where they focused on him. 2 offensive linemen, he trucked them both. He trucked them right through, just bam. And what that does is it frees up space for Ed Oliver. If he's got 2 guys on him, nobody's on Ed Oliver, and he just gets through, or one guy is, and there's a hole on that side. It was awesome to see. Again, this is a season where I've learned to appreciate Star, and now he's putting up, like, I'm actually proud to have this guy on my team because he's out there pushing himself 100%, which is awesome to see as well, because it carries that whole lineup. And having a guy like Greg Rousseau, who made my favorite play of the game, because, you know, ever since we drafted this guy, what have I been saying? He's so big, all he needs to do is this, and he's going to intercept the ball and knock the ball free. And sure enough, he goes like that, bam, gets the ball. And I didn't know this, but he used to be a receiver in high school, I guess, and he catches the ball for the interception. That was an awesome play. I immediately
didn't know that. You didn't know that?
He did it. Bam. Oh, caught it.
Yeah, he's such a better athlete than Trent Murphy.
So
that's one thing you notice right away.
Right.
Don't even bring up that name on this show.
But it's just night and day different how athletic, you know, Rousseau.
Gregory Rousseau, and you know, when we talk about, you know, that was one of the topics of the takeaways, you know, it's you know, he had a sack, an interception, and 5 tackles. I mean, what he's able to do in the run game, we're not talking about it enough. I mean, his run fits and his discipline and integrity, his run integrity when he's, you know, he can use length and he can use speed. I mean, he takes proper angles to the ball carriers, man. And the guy, he just does it
controlling the defenders
well.
Controlling the defenders. He made the defender. He made the guy pushing back.
Rousseau is good.
He wanted to.
Rousseau is good. He's good.
Draft traits, right?
He's
long
good.
arms, tall. He's just abnormally long and big, right? And it's paying off for the Bills. But we got to mention Jerry Hughes too. 7 tackles, 1 sack, also disrupting a lot of plays. You know, all over the field. Jerry Hughes had a good night as well.
So this is Nicholas says the last time we played the Titans at home, we won. No, the last time we played the Titans was in Tennessee. We didn't win. So we didn't win last season.
That was
we
in
won
Tennessee.
the
COVID
time
game,
before
right?
because
Tuesday night.
we didn't win the COVID game. But we won the time before that in Tennessee because
when there were
14-7.
fans. It was all Bills fans.
Yeah, it was all Bills fans. But we're gonna kick that ass this weekend. We're gonna talk about that here later in the show. But we didn't see Josh Allen. Josh Allen was calm, cool, collected. But Dawson Knox, man. Dawson Knox, 3 catches, 115 yards. He had 115 yards or something like that. 117 yards and a touchdown. Dawson Knox has been incredible this year. Dawson Knox has been great. The touchdown catch on Sorensen on the busted coverage, or I guess it's a busted coverage because Sorensen just really wasn't paying attention. Where you had Tyrann Mathieu saying, "Bro, like, what are you doing? What are you doing, dog? Like,
fell asleep.
Are you here or are you not?" Because listen, man, it was crazy. But Dawson Knox has been balling out. Dawson Knox and Greg Rousseau, man, they really showed up.
Dawson Knox,
Oliver was great.
39 yards per reception for Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
He just, it was wide open. And again, this is what I expected from Dawson Knox from the beginning of the season. A few catches a game, maybe a touchdown, right? And he's been able to do that every game. And it's more about every time he's targeted, he's catching 78% of his passes.
Hold up. Tighten up, bro. Tighten up, dog.
Whoa.
You mean to tell me that you are watching the Bills podcast knowing y'all about to get your ass whooped on Monday Night Football? You mean to tell me you're going to come in here with that moniker, tighten up? Y'all better tighten up because y'all going to get your ass whooped on Monday Night Football. I'm telling you that right now. But I appreciate you for watching the show, but I'm telling you, dog, like, listen, look, that whole little COVID thing last year, they remember that shit, right? Like, the Bills, right. Stephon Diggs, he gonna have a big game on Monday night. I'm telling y'all right now. He owes you an ass whooping. Tannehill, y'all remember how Tannehill was rolling out the pocket and he was busted contained because Trent Murphy can't play fucking football? Let me tell you something. That shit ain't gonna happen on Monday night because they're gonna eat you alive, bro. I'm telling you. Like, y'all were struggling against the damn Jaguars for half the game.
That's
you
right.
You mean tell me y'all gonna
They gotta run the football. That's what they do.
No,
I ain't trying to hear nothing. Tennessee is my home state. Y'all know I'm a country boy at heart. I ain't got no respect for the Titans right now. No.
We got plenty of time to talk about that. So we're gonna
talk about them. But I appreciate you for watching the show, my guy.
Going into the opposing team's YouTube cast and talking trash.
You can't come up in here with that shit. You better come up in here saying. You better come up in here.
He's got to talk. Hey, he's got to talk now because he won't be here next week. I can guarantee you that.
Mariota, Marcus Mariota, bruh, dog.
And we were talking about Dawson Knox and his play, much more important than a Titan fan here talking shit to the Bills fans. But one of my other favorite plays from this game was the one where Josh Allen rolls out of the pocket, pressure's coming, it's a blown up play, and he looked at Dawson Knox and he goes, "Get over here, go that way," and threw him the ball deep, and it was a completed pass. It looked like he was going to run out of bounds, and he threw the ball and completed it on a dime.
We got to address why real quick. He says, "Wish my ex could have tightened up a bit." Listen, you know what they say, man? They say she for the streets, dog. And when you find her at the bar, where she's like 8 drinks in, dog, you get what you get. You get what you get, man. Like, come on now. Anyway, moving on. Anthony, what were you saying, bro?
I don't even know anymore. That play by Josh Allen where he rolled out, he was getting pressure, he's almost out of bounds. He's literally waving at Knox. I mean, I don't know what the defenders are thinking. You can see Josh Allen go, "Hey, go this way," and throws the ball on a dime to Dawson Knox. He catches it. Huge play, even though it should have been a sack or at least an incompletion or a run out of bounds or something. But no, huge play because Josh Allen was
about the touchdown pass or the
no, not the
one
touchdown
where the sideline
pass.
erupted, right?
Yes,
over the defender. I mean, that's just again, that's Josh Allen's talent. It's arm strength. Like how many guys can make that throw?
Right,
one.
Right, it's
a guy in their face. Right?
It's impressive. Did you guys know that an Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports, including best ball daily drafts and pick 'em? You can start drafting in minutes for a shot at big cash prizes. And if you use the code COVER1, they will give you $10 on your first deposit. So be sure, as you see down there below, check out Underdog Fantasy. Use the code COVER1, and you can start winning big cash in a minute. Chris Jenke in the house. He says, love you guys. What a great time to be a Bills fan. Hell yes, sir. It is a great time to be a Bills fan. And you know what? All the pain and suffering that we've gone through as a fan base. Let me tell you something. I was talking to a Bills fan who was 22 years old on Sunday night. And I'm 38, okay? But I look fantastic. I'm like a middle-aged Denzel right now. But let me tell you something, though. He says, I'm 22 years old. And I'm like, bro, all you've known is the Bills being trash. He's like, yeah, dude, and I'm so excited. I'm like, whoa, that's like crazy. Like, okay, first of all, I'm getting older, and this cat is telling me he's 22 years old. So, like, when you took a look at the drop baby, which was like 17 years old, and he's 22, like, my boy was still in diapers. Okay, when he was still in diapers, like when during the drought years. Like, that's crazy to think, but a new generation of Bills fans are coming up, and it's really cool right now to be a Bills fan. And you know how like it was when we were going through the drought, we got to see all the good teams hit on good draft picks and have a quarterback and have a defense that was worth talking about, or have a star, or even get we were crying for a primetime game. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember those days?
No prime time.
Yeah.
When they would give us
prime time. They would get the Jets on Thursday night.
Let me tell you, my sidebar crew.
Yeah,
my sidebar crew every freaking at the end of the season when we're already out of the playoffs and whatever, and the crowd dwindles down, but those diehards are there still watching every game, no matter what. You know, I remember getting up at like 6 a.m. to watch the game overseas or whatever, and I'm like, all right, we're ready to go, because we were in Denver, so it's earlier even now than it was normally. And of course, the Bills lost that game, but it didn't matter. I got up and I watched the game, because that's what diehard fans do, and we did it. And now we are the ones that have to enjoy this moment the most. Absolutely. Because we appreciate it the most. This doesn't come often. This isn't a regular thing. Now, can the Bills maintain this? Obviously, we certainly hope so, with Josh Allen and the coaching staff and everything, the consistency we have going right now. But, you have to live in the moment in this league.
Absolutely, man. You got to live in the moment. So, yeah, you know what, man?
It's Super Bowl or bust for this team.
You know what? Have fun with it. Your team is good. Fun. Have fun with it.
We're having fun. But
talk your shit every day. I see Broncos fans out here all the time. I talk my shit. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because they talk their
Bills.
That's their glory days. Yeah.
We got a quarterback. Hey, we got a quarterback. We're going to be good for the next 15 years, man. Like,
and
get
especially Broncos fans, they passed on him.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah, they all hurt. They hurt. I had a guy I work with, man. This dude, he's super cool, though. He was like, I swear to God, this conversation today, he goes, Sterling, no, I expected you to come in here with your chest beaten and you're just excited. I kept it cool at work. When I go to work and I'm on business, you know what I'm saying? But he goes, can I ask you a question? I go, yeah. I was like, Gabe, go ahead and ask me a question, man. He goes, you guys got any room for any more fans this year? Because my team sucks. He's a Broncos fan. I say, you know what, bro? I said, abso-freaking-lutely. You can jump on the Bills bandwagon, because we do not discriminate. We will take anybody. If you want to jump on Bills Mafia, you go right a freak ahead. So that Titans fan in here.
We don't take Patriots fans, though.
No, we'll take them too, because if they see the light, we'll take you.
You should see the Twitter back and forth I had with a Patriots fan who was praising the Bills and Josh Allen. I thought somebody hacked his account for a little bit, but I guess it was really him. He was saying, I wish I had Josh Allen, and the Patriots are going to lose to the Bills.
We said that about Tom Brady for how long?
Yeah, exactly.
20 years.
Yeah, and they had unrealistic expectations. I actually have a lot of Giants fan friends right now who are saying, hey, can I be fans of the Bills? This, especially after this win. At least 3 of them came to me and they're like, I'm cheering for your Bills, because, well, obviously they dealt with a lot of injuries. And they suck. So that's right. Come on. We're going all the way, baby. Come have fun with us.
We're going to wrap up.
Though?
Who decides?
Who gets to decide, like, if you're allowed to be a Bills fan or not? Is it collective?
Not us. They get to decide.
As a Bills Bills member, you have royalty. So we all do. So like, if somebody asks,
it's in the blood. I see.
It's in the blood, man. Like, let them come
on
over.
Just wanted to clarify.
Mafia is family, baby.
All right. So getting back on track. So we're gonna close the show out here, but we got a couple things we're gonna get into our preview show. But there's a few things that we wanted to do, man. And one of those things being, we want to talk about the jersey giveaway, the hooflive@gmail.com, and we've gotten some inquiries about that. But what we want to do right now is we want to announce a winner. It's one of those things where I know Eric and I and Anthony came in a little later, but this whole thing that we do here was just a pipe dream, man. Like Eric and I, we met at church. Like we met at church, and Eric came to church one day in a Bills jersey, and I'm like, I see this dude, and I'm like,
it's pre-Josh.
Yo, is this like, are you effing with me, dude? Like, are you a Bills fan? I know you're wearing a jersey, but is this like somebody put you up to this? Because everybody knows in church I'm a Bills fan. He was like, no, dude, we're from Buffalo, and me and my fiance, we're here, we're moving here, and exactly, we just hit it. Eric and I just hit it off.
Why are you a Bills fan? Way the hell?
Yeah, Tennessee, yeah.
Right. And he goes, anyway, so we cultivate this friendship, man. Eric and Anthony, they're my brothers. They're like one of my best friends. And Anthony came into the picture later, but this whole Hoof thing originated because we would text message all day long about the Bills. We would call each other on the phone and just talk Bills because we have nobody else to talk to about it, right?
I think Tyrod's gonna have a big week this week.
Yeah.
I think he's got what it takes.
And it kind of from the text messages turned into we're gonna do a podcast, and the podcast turned into doing a podcast in freaking negative 20-degree weather in a garage. Anthony was there, and to what it is right now. And I say all that to say, man, it's like because of you guys help make that all possible. Like, and I don't want to get teared up, man, but like I love what I do. Like, I love this, man. I love this, and the fact that we never thought that we would be here with you guys and to be able to every single week just. And I know we're crazy and nutty half the time, and Anthony is a fucking hot mess every fucking day. But the fact that we get to do this with you guys and you guys like our stuff, like we never thought anybody would like our stuff. Like, and we get emails and all kinds of stuff, man. It's
Twitter, people on Twitter.
People on Twitter showing us love, and man, it's like, dude, like when you get to do something that you absolutely love, like you can't put a price tag on that. And so the fact that you guys supported us through so much, man, when we have bad days, like when we have stuff going on in our life, man, we get to the stuff that you guys don't even see behind the scenes, dude. Like we get to come in and talk Bills with you guys. And that, like, dude, that stuff, like, it helps me so much. So part of doing this was like, we want to give back to our fans. And that's what this whole jersey giveaway was all about. And so I'm gonna read to you, one of the things that we got, and I don't even think we didn't even notify her, we didn't even tell her, but this is Danielle Lefevre, and this is her question, and she goes, "Love your show. I go by Mafia Mom on YouTube. My question to you guys is, what are your earliest Bills memories, and if any of you have any younger kids, what do you do to pass on your Bills pride with them? For example, my kids and I celebrate Bills Day each week. We all wear jerseys. They all have snacks each time the Bills score. I can't eat during the game. And we sing the shout song after we score, alternating who does a solo. Hey. We do other stuff too, but I was just trying to give examples of passing down that Bills pride to Junior Mafia, man. And I read that and I'm just like, damn, like this went from a conversation at church to people just saying they love the show, they love us, and they're concerned about how we're doing in our lives. And to explain the amount of gratitude that we have for you guys is it's incredible, man. And like I said, I don't mean to get all teary-eyed and emotional. I know it happens sometimes, but I just want you guys to know. I just want you guys to know, man. I just want you guys to know that you guys mean so much to us, and we thank you guys for all the support, man. And so Danielle, let's go back to her comment. Danielle Lefevre, you are our winner for the Josh Allen jersey. And so what you need to do is give us your email, give us your address. I'm gonna send you an email and reply to this, but we want to thank you for contributing to our to our jersey giveaway, man. And some of our, we talk about some of our earliest Bills memories, but I have a 10-year-old son who is a Bills fan. He loves the Bills. I'm gonna indoctrinate that shit in him like crazy.
Oh yes.
Brainwash him. Anthony has a young child.
I do. An 8-month-old. I mean, I'm starting already. I mean, when he was in the womb, I was singing the shout song to him. And when he was born, I was singing with him, and it would soothe him because that was what I sang to him all the time when he was in the womb. And now, I mean, I'm already putting him in Bills stuff as much as I can. My wife is already like, we need to stop getting Bills stuff. And I'm like, oh no, there is never enough Bills stuff. He's got like 6 outfits already, and I've got the next 6 lined up for when he grows out of those. And it's an exciting thing, and I can't wait till he grows up to do the things that she talked about, to share that bonding of this is what we do in this house. Like, we watch Bills football and we get excited about it, and we sing the shout song, and we put up our flag, and we put on our gear, and that is one of the most exciting things about being a parent for me is sharing these things that I love this much, like Bills football, with my son. And thank you for that question. As Sterling said, I really want to echo everything you said, Sterling. You guys are my brothers. I can't appreciate you two enough for bringing me in on this and us being able to grow this into what it is now. And obviously everybody watching and listening is part of that too. And it's questions like this. It's those interactions on Twitter. It's all of that we live for. It's an amazing feeling. And like Sterling also said, I want to echo, we all have stuff going on in our real lives, and all the drama and all the burdens and all the stress. And then we come here and we just get to let it out with you guys about the Bills and just be ourselves and talk Bills. And it's the most amazing thing ever. So I appreciate that. And earliest memories of the Bills, for me, it was watching the Super Bowls with my family, my brothers who are Dallas fans and Giants fans and Redskins fans, as I've talked about on the show before, and watching Super Bowl, and we would have a big party and get a big 6-foot sub and all the snacks and everything. And those are my earliest memories.
Yeah, same. I suck at sharing my emotions, but I agree with everything you said, Sterling. This is just for fun for us, and it's been a fun ride, and it's the team's been successful, which makes this so much more fun. We hit on a draft pick and Josh Allen, which made our life so much better. And it's just we've been on the other side of this thing, and it's way more fun on this side. But anyway, I don't have kids or anything, but I do have a dog, and I do share Bill's memories with him. He's got a Jersey, an Australian cattle dog or a red heeler. But some of my earliest memories are my uncle was a huge Bills fan, and this is during the Super Bowl, the 4 Super Bowls, and my family's Giants fans, but so my dad would have me call him and give him shit, like how about the Giants, or the Dallas was beating the Bills, how about those Cowboys, right? And he'd get all worked up, but I became a Bills fan later on, but they tried to give me to be a Giants fan, but I wasn't falling for it.
Yeah, my brother did the opposite. My little brother used to be very young, was a Bills fan, and my stepfather converted him to a Giants fan. He thought it was the best move ever. Now I'm having the last laugh today.
Lone wolf. I don't have emotion. So it's just one speed at all times.
Hey, that's what we need him for. We balance each other out. We all know I've got enough emotion for all of us. So
exactly.
That's funny. But hey, Danielle Lefevre, man, I'm gonna reply to your email, man. You are the winner. Keep being a great mom and talk to your kids about the Bills. And this is just a game, right? But man, the Bills bring so much life to our lives individually, and don't let anybody diminish that, man. Like, this is what we do, and we love the community that you guys have allowed us to be a part of. This Twitter community, YouTube and etc. But I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys and supporting us in our dreams and just in our hobbies and our fun. And you guys take your times out of your busy lives to listen to us freaking talk shit for an hour, right? and our whole goal is to get you guys to enjoy life and give you another outlet to reach out and to be normal, be human. We all know this the stuff that's in our world right now, and we all need outlets and different things. So man, like I said, there's a lot of you guys watching the show right now, and we appreciate every single one of you guys. So with that being said,
what kind of wine are you drinking tonight?
Dude, that ain't the wine, bro. It's I have real emotions, dog. But no,
I don't
I'm
drink
drinking
wine, but I've heard
I'm
that
drinking
it gets
19
emotional.
crimes, and I'm not even lit or anything, like, you know. But I'm just being real, like, you know how I am, Eric. Man, I appreciate everybody like that, man. You guys, you know, everybody's been super cool with us, man. So, you know, we have our naysayers, right? But for those of you who are here watching the show, man, you guys are the real ones. So, man, we appreciate y'all so much. So the Josh Allen jersey's going out, but the contest now that's phase one. So we're doing another drawing. So submit your questions. We're going to get to you guys. I'm going to read them, and then we'll pick a winner 4 weeks from now. But that doesn't mean you can right now. You can submit questions to let Eric have his have his emotions. Yeah, exactly, Jason. Tell him. Let me have my emotions. Let me get teary-eyed, right? But we're going to be giving out another jersey. So every 4 weeks, we're going to be giving out jerseys or a jersey to one of you guys, man. It's our way of giving back. And for you guys helping us become what we are, and we just appreciate you. So with that being said, man, we're going to close out this portion of the show. We are going to proceed with the next phase, and that is our preview that drops on Friday. So from all the way out here in Denver, Colorado, my two guys who live in New York, upstate New York. I'm the lone guy in Colorado now. The trifecta is separated, but we are joined together by StreamYard, man. We appreciate all you guys and all your support. And we're going to say go Bills, and we out of here.
Go Bills.
Okay, now let's get into the preview for Monday night's game. We got the Tennessee Titans coming. Well, we're going to Tennessee, okay? That's my hometown, my home state. Okay, I grew up in Chattanooga, so Tennessee is only 2.5 hours away. For those of you going to the game, you know, there's great places to eat. I can tell you so many. There's great music to listen to in Tennessee. Tennessee is a fun place to visit. I don't want to live there. That's why I live in Denver, because I can't do that all the time. But with that being said, it is what it is. But, man, thank you guys for listening and to subscribing to the Cover One Network and the Hoof Podcast. And this is the Friday's edition of the Matchup Preview Show. So what we like to do here is we like to go over a few things, kind of get you thinking about some things as you head into the weekend. And you're going to be listening, you know, to people talk about what the Bills did to the Chiefs last week. And that's gone now. So we have to look forward to the next opponent on the schedule, and that's the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans they're a decent team, man. They're a good team. I think this is one of those games where if you're not careful, you can get caught slipping. Okay. Typically, when you come off those emotional high wins, typically the team that has that emotional high win doesn't necessarily perform up to its standard the following week. So this is going to be a testament. This is going to be a test of Josh Allen. This is going to be a test of the coaching staff. Can they keep that momentum going? Now, we can look at and say, well, were the Bills humbled in week one? Absolutely. They were humbled in week one. Now they got their swagger back. When they did to the Chiefs, we talked about earlier in the week, they were the bully to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now we're facing a team that's very physical, led by Mr. Vrabel. Okay, so he preaches a very physical contact, very physical brand of football. Can the Bills live up to that? Can they put together another week of physicality from a defensive and offensive line standpoint? Is remain to be seen. So how we like to break down these opponents, we like to talk about, one of the things is how can the Bills win, on offense, how can the Bills win on defense? But, the Tennessee Titans, they sit right now, let's see, they're 3-2. They're number one in the AFC South. So they are division leading Tennessee Titans at 3-2. Okay, so they definitely they're a playoff team. They present some challenges that I think we should discuss. But what are your overall thoughts? Let's start with this. What are your overall thoughts on the Tennessee Titans? Like when you watch the film, we'll get into that portion of the show as we continue to do our preview show. But what are your overall thoughts of the Titans?
Yeah, I'd say overall there's tons of weapons on this team, right? We all know Derrick Henry is a big problem, and that'll be the primary focus of the week. But I mean, I know Julio Jones has been out. I know he's on the injury report going into this week. We'll see if he plays. He's been out the last 2 games, but he's a very dangerous player, right? It's hard for me to believe that A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry are all in the same offense. So those are the things that jump out to me. I think they're still trying to find their identity on defense. I think this team's better than what they've been playing, you know? They've been in some close games with teams like Jacksonville and Indianapolis, where they shouldn't be, right? This team is better than that, and I think they're still trying to find their identity is my initial thought.
I was going to go along the same lines and say that they really have not played a game with those 3 weapons being healthy and on the field at the same time. And Julio Jones was questionable for this week. A.J. Brown played this week. Obviously, Derrick Henry's been Derrick Henry for the first part of the season so far. We've seen what we expected from him. But the Bills shut down Derrick Henry last time. They still found a way to lose the game. But I expect them to focus on him again and primarily on him. The other things that stand out to me is this team is vulnerable on defense. They've been looking terrible on defense and vulnerable on that offensive line. Very vulnerable in the limited snaps and plays that I've seen from them, the highlights, the research that I've done. It's been ugly. I mean, I've been impressed with the fact that Tannehill's been able to do a little bit with what he's gotten so far and look as good as he has. I mean, granted, their record is what it is, 3-2, but we mentioned his weapons being out, and we joked about his throwing 3 touchdown passes to guys we'd never heard of before. But that offensive line and that defense against the Bills right now, like that is a huge mismatch for them. Huge. Give them Derrick Henry all day, and there's still a huge mismatch on that our defensive line versus their offensive line and their defense versus our offense. And to me, that's going to be the difference in the game.
So John DeMarchi, man, John DeMarchi is a long time a fan of the show, and he says coming in late from the 305s, my hot takes is Ed Oliver, Rout, Terran, Saran, Neal, Trey, the D, insane, Spencer Brown, Moss, Knox, Sanders. Whoa, also that was a 4 lateral in 99. Absolutely was a 4 lateral in 99, and they finessed us. They finessed us on that.
That's a great line.
And we're gonna pay them back this weekend on Monday night. We're gonna pay them back for that. And you know they're gonna be showing that every time we play the Titans. They gotta show that damn pass. White check. Hey, let me tell y'all a little something about White check. So I know a girl. Okay, listen, I know a girl that he's dating or was dating, and he's like 15, 20 years older than this chick. And it's just,
of course, to
see Frank Wycheck's old ass with this young hot chick. Yeah. Like she's like in her 30s, like she's it's hilarious. But anyway, that don't even matter right now. But yes, absolutely, the defense is insane. Spencer Brown is.
We didn't even mention Spencer Brown.
He is
Spencer Brown, dude. He is
unbelievable. Such a freaking beast.
Yeah, and I think all 5 offensive linemen, 100% of the snaps, right? The original 5, Spencer Brown included at right tackle. I mean, I think the offensive line is set moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah. I still think they need to consider drafting a center or guard in the draft first round. I would
need depth. Yeah, you got to have.
There's a few guys that we get later into the season and later or the offseason. I'll start talking about draft prospects. I got some guys that I'm already scouting and studying. Yeah. So, but we'll get into that. But anyway, so the Tennessee Titans, first thing that comes to my mind is this is a team that likes to run the football. And that's been their identity. They predicate themselves on being physical at the line of scrimmage. It's a very old school thing. They got guys like Taylor Lewan, who's having the down year. Roger Saffold, Ben Jones is a guy from Alabama. You're going to see Nate Davis at right guard, David Quisenberry at right tackle. I mean, this offensive line is nothing of what they used to have. They're decent. Obviously they excel in run blocking, but their pass blocking I don't think is great. I think there's Bills can exploit them there, but when you have a guy like King Henry in the backfield, I think he kind of masks some of your inefficiencies when in terms of run fits from an offensive line standpoint and staying true to your technique. There's some opportunities to be had on this right side of the offensive line. Nate Davis and Ben Jones and Roger Saffold, he's questionable. We don't even know if he's playing, but if you have to put guys in like Kendall Lamb or Dylan Radums is a guy from North Dakota State that we all kind of thought the Bills could take a look at. So we don't know, he's only played in sparingly in snaps, but this offensive line is not what it once was as far as the Tennessee Titans, what they're used to having. So I think that's one of their weaknesses in terms of pass protection, right? Like I said, they're good at run blocking. This is a Tennessee Titans team that they're third in the run right now in terms of offense. They have 702 yards. I think they're sixth, and they have like 4.9 yards per carry. So when they do run, they are getting good chunks of plays. We see them running power formations. A lot of 12 personnel. And they use a lot of play action, man. You're going to see a lot of play action, just like we saw last year. These guys use a lot of play action. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily have a complete wide receiver room, right? When you got guys like Chester Rogers lining up out there.
That's your guy, Reynolds. Chester Rogers.
Rogers.
We're gonna see a big game from Chester Rogers.
Well, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, like what in the hell? You're just like, dude, like you guys definitely. AJ Brown and Julio Jones are really good wide receivers, right? And the thing is, though, I don't think that's gonna. I think they could present some challenges in terms of run after the catch, but we have everything we need from a standpoint of coverage, because they don't have any burners, right? So, I know the Bills struggle with speed, so they can be more exotic in their blitz packages. They don't have to do a cover 2 shell. You're going to see the Bills stack the box, and the whole idea is going to be to stop Derrick Henry. So, with that being said, let's start with the defense first. Since we're kind of talking about Derrick Henry and these offensive wide receivers and stuff in the play action pass game, how are the Bills? What do you guys think? How are the Bills going to be able to win on defense when the Titans have the ball?
Yeah, I would say the Titans are struggling throwing deep passes, right? They're 2 for 15 on passes that are over 20 yards, 0-8 in the last 2 games. So, I mean, I would personally, you can't let Julio Jones and AJ Brown beat you, right? So I would play back a little bit and run downhill on Derrick Henry. He's running off tackle a lot this season. Obviously having success with that. He's averaged about 30 carries a game, at least 30 plus in the last 2 games. But if it's me, I'm going to let Derrick Henry run because I got Josh Allen. I got an explosive offense right now. He can score a lot of points. And I think, put the Tennessee Titans in a position where they have to throw the ball. And I think you win this game.
I kind of agree with you there. I would say that the focus for this defense is going to be on the Bills side. Tremaine Edmunds. Recognize that they're going to do a lot of play action. Know where you have to be and make sure everybody else knows what's going on too, right? That's Tremaine Edmunds' job on defense. He's been doing a phenomenal job of it. I expect him to step up big in this game. Having Starr back for this game, remember he was out last year when we lost to the Titans, even though they controlled Travis Henry in that game. They controlled him in that game. And now this game, I expect them to be even more dominant on that defensive line. We have a better pass rush. As Sterling said when we were talking about the Kansas City game, getting pressure with just 4 guys. So we have that ability to say, Trey White, you're covering A.J. Brown. Bam, Julio Jones, if he plays, we've got the guys to cover him too because we trust our safeties to do what they do best. And then our 4 guys can get pressure and stuff the line and let Tremaine Edmunds make the call. If he thinks it's going to be play action, a pass, you got to be ready. Who's covering Henry if he comes this way? And I expect it to be a lot of Tremaine Edmunds going after Henry and hopefully Matt Milano, if he's back in this game,
right.
To
that point,
make a place too.
Ryan Tannehill's having a lot of success over the middle from 0 to 10 yards. So
Brisker,
everyone's focused on Henry and it's opening up the middle of the field, or they're playing back because of the 2 great receivers. So, I mean, that the middle of the field, I think, will be open for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, and when we talk about the offensive line, David Quisenberry, he, as sound as he's kind of been in terms of like his technique, he's given up 4 sacks. And then we're like, well, what are you saying? Like if you look at his, when you watch him on film, like he he's really good in run blocking. Like I mentioned that earlier in the show, but the pass blocking is where he struggles. And I think, he struggles with guys that offer speed and power. And I think he's facing a guy in Gregory Rousseau. And we saw, the Bills use Jerry Hughes on the right-hand side of the line this past Sunday. And so I think they're going to try to he's definitely a weak spot when it comes to pass protection. I mean, this Tennessee Titans offense is not explosive. I mean, when you have 13 plays of 20 yards or more, you're toward the last part of the NFL, and you have one play over 51 yards. This is not a big play offense. They definitely believe in running the football. Like you mentioned, Eric, they want to throw it over the middle, from play action looks and so forth. And when Ryan Tannehill can get outside of contain, and he wants to make plays. And so I think the Bills need to be able to limit Derrick Henry is first and foremost. They're going to have to do that. And the Bills boast one of the best run defenses in the league. Star Latulippe is balling out. Ed Oliver. I mean, these guys in platooning these defensive linemen is great. I think Matt Milano plays this weekend. I think they held him out for Kansas City, and they didn't even need him. We could talk about that ad nauseum, but Matt Milano has been the best player on the Bills defense. I mean, PFF rated him as a 90 defensive player through the first 5 weeks of the season, and that's one of the tops in the league. And so Matt Milano is definitely playing his ass off this year. But from an offensive line standpoint, like I said, they excel in run blocking, but the Bills can definitely, when it's time for, you want to limit Tennessee from getting big gains on first down. They like to run the ball on first down, right? And so you want to keep them at a longer down and distance, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 8, or 3rd and 6, where they have to pass the ball on 3rd down. This is where you can pin your ears back, let those edge rushers make some hay. So, I think, with Quisenberry allowing 4 sacks, right, and 4 quarterback hits, I mean, that's not good. And we're, that's a sack a game, really. And so I think, having guys like Ed Oliver come pressure up the middle, Star Latulippe, it's going to leave those offensive tackles on an island and be able having to go one-on-one with guys like Greg Rousseau, Mario Addison, Jerry Hughes is going to cause a big problem. And I think the Bills have been really doing a very solid job of containing the outside. They're not going to let Tannehill scramble and get out and make plays. So there's one of the things that Tannehill did very well against the Bills last year, where he was able to get out of the pocket and run and extend drives and make plays. He's not going to be able to do that this year. And there hasn't been a team that's been able to do that thus far. So I expect the Bills to continue to do that.
Right. And if you're the Titans, I mean, Derrick Henry's been having a ton of success running outside, like you mentioned, off tackle, power right, power left. But I think they're going to challenge Levi Wallace to come up and tackle Derrick Henry. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Levi Wallace and the cornerbacks to come up and make those plays, especially because the Bills play so much nickel that I don't think it'd be crazy to see 3 linebackers. Is that far-fetched? Can we go 4-3 base?
Yeah.
Because we play Buffalo nickel all the time. Add a linebacker in there just to stop Derrick Henry from running outside, because that's really what the Titans do well right now, and it opens up the passing game.
But then you're taking Taron Johnson off the field. I mean, you might as well let him be that 3rd linebacker.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying is the pressure's on Taron Johnson. He definitely had a great week last week, but you got to come up and tackle Derrick Henry. They're going to run outside.
Yeah, no, see, I don't think that the Bills need to I mean, they may not run as much nickel. They're still their primary defensive front, but I think you're going to see I think it's some heavy run downs. You're going to see, maybe Saran Neal or maybe AJ Klein in there for some extra support. But I think what we're going to see is, I think you're going to see pressure from the edge, because the Bills are so good in the middle. I think, they're going to try to hit runs on the outside. And I think that's where they're going to flood the outsides and kind of contain and make Derrick Henry kind of get his yards up the middle. And I don't think that, when you have guys on the offensive line, like, Roger Saffold, who's questionable, Nate Davis, who I believe, I don't think he's great. He's okay. Taylor Lewan is still one of the best left tackles in the league, but the interior of the line is where you need to make your hay. So I think, Star Latulippe has to consistently eat up 2 blockers, right? Make Derrick Henry bounce it to the outside. But here's a problem, though. The Bills were better at tackling last week. But the Bills traditionally under Sean McDermott have not been a great tackling team. And so they have to be able to tackle well. I think that's one of the big things of emphasis. I think this week they probably made an emphasis to practice their tackling. But the Bills have done a really good job of containing Derrick Henry. I mean, he really hasn't got off on this Bills defense last year, right?
Yeah, that Josh Norman play was called back, so.
Right, and that was a great stiff arm, and RIP to Josh Norman on that. But it got called back. But absolutely,
we'll see that play all weekend too. I'm sure.
But Ryan Tannehill, he's got like 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the year. He really hasn't been.
He hasn't been
great, and they're 24th in pass yards, 7.2 yards per game through the air. They have an 89.7 quarterback rate, so he's not playing, extremely well.
Derrick Henry's seeing 8 defenders in the box 42% of the time. I mean, it's working though. I mean, the Jets beat this team. You know what I'm saying? Every game they've been close. Yes. I think that formula works.
Yeah, and they struggled with the Jaguars for the first half last week. I mean, that to me, I mean, it tells you that, listen, but if the Bills if they come in riding high off of the Chiefs win and they're not ready, they could get their ass whooped. So the Bills this is like I was saying earlier in the show, like the Bills have to come in sound, and their technique has to be really good. They have to be really good in their run fits, because this is a team that can beat you. They've proven to you that they could beat you. But, I think if the Bills are playing their best ball, there's no way in hell that this game should even be close. I mean, I really do. We can get to the predictions later, but I really do think the Bills come in, they establish the dominance, and they're going to win this game. But that's just talking about what the Bills can do from a defensive point of view. Let's reverse the side of the ball. Let's talk about what the Bills can do from an offensive standpoint. So, a quick overview, the Tennessee Titans, they got guys like Jeffrey Simmons and Howard Landry and Rashaan Evans and Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree is a guy that, is a good pass rusher from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they got old Janoris Jenkins and Dane Cruikshank and Kevin Byers, one of the best safeties in the league, and Christian Fulton, who was a guy that I was very high on. And they picked up Elijah Molden as well. So they got good young corners. And Caleb Farley is another guy. We forgot about him. They got guys on that defensive side of the ball. And they just haven't gelled yet as a defense. I mean, their pass rush isn't where they want it to be. There's no reason why these teams should be staying in the game with you.
It's a coaching problem, I think. It's definitely got to be a coaching problem, because, like you said, a lot of people were hyped about this team coming in because they've got names on defense, and they got Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and I said it again, Derrick Henry. Third time today.
Big time, two different things.
So, yeah, right. Telling you, you think that they should be a lot better than what they've been playing. They lost to the Jets. They barely beat the Jaguars. They've looked very pathetic so far this season. And they're 9th worst in the NFL in terms of points given up on defense. With the names you just said, they're a playoff team. They're leading their division, and they are the 9th worst defense when it comes to giving up points against teams like the Jets and Jaguars. As much as teams want to say, the Bills defense isn't that good, they've only played crappy teams. The Titans have played crappy teams, and they've given up more points than all but 8 other teams in the NFL. That is crazy to this point. To be a playoff team right now in their division, and they've given up 130 points, which is where that is. That's insane. Their defense has to be able to hang. And with those names, they're not getting it done. To me, that's a coaching thing. The players aren't ready for game day. I don't know what it is, but against a potent Bills offense, you think that's going to improve this weekend? Like, no, this ain't your wake-up game. This ain't your game to suddenly play well. You better be snapping on all cylinders when you play an offense like ours.
They're giving up a lot of yards as well.
Tons of yards, yeah.
Their average yards per game that they're giving up is 377 yards a game. It's 21st in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, this offense should come in there. They're riding high right now. They're focused. I think they could come in and put a lot of points up. And this is what I was saying. The only way that this Titans team could beat you is if Julio Jones and A.J. Brown get hot. I think you kind of let Derrick Henry run a little bit, maybe play back a little bit, and let them run the clock out themselves.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations where I think that from an offensive standpoint, I think if you're the Bills, I think you stick to what's been working for you. Run the ball. I mean, run the ball efficiently, but you have to exploit these corners, right? This defensive in the back end, they're not playing, like you guys mentioned, they're not playing up to the standard that they or the potential that they can be at. I think they're struggling from a pass standpoint, and so from a pass defense standpoint, this is a game where I feel like Josh Allen can really get going. Exploit them. I really
Stephon
do
Diggs.
expect.
You mentioned it earlier, but I think that's the connection in this game.
How about Dawson Knox? Right, he's from Tennessee. Former teammate AJ Brown at Ole Miss.
Dawson Knox is going to do what he does. He's going to catch 4 passes, have a touchdown, maybe 50, 60 yards. That's what he does. That's consistency right there. I love it.
Why not give him 5 though?
Yeah, there you go. Why not?
Yeah,
5 catches for Dawson Knox. Bold prediction.
Who's gonna cover Dawson Knox is my question. Like, what do you have to cover Dawson Knox? I mean, we see them in a 3-4 defense. So what you're gonna trot down. Kevin Byard I think Kevin Byard's really good in pass coverage, right?
He'll be playing back.
Right. But if the Bills go 4 or 5 wide, they're not going to have an answer for.
You can't put Harold Landry on anybody. I mean, Dawson Knox is your slowest guy, right?
You want to make them uncomfortable. You want to throw a lot of packages at them, make them uncomfortable, make them have to guard every player. So this is where like guys like Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis can really come in and get going here. I do want to see the backs not drop as many passes as they dropped last week. They dropped some stuff. Josh Allen's the kind of quarterback that needs to get into rhythm, get going earlier in downs. And when you're dropping passes out of the backfield, I don't think that's a good sign. Hopefully that improves. But from an offensive line standpoint, what do you guys think about Darrell Williams? Darrell Williams has been improving in his new position at right guard the past few weeks. What do you guys think about him at right guard?
Yeah, I think he's looked good. I mean, he's a much bigger body, right? His technique's really good at guard. He's played a lot of guard in Carolina, but over a year ago now. But seems to be holding his own from what I've seen. One thing to pay attention to on the Titans defensive line is Jeffrey Simmons. Right, this guy he can disrupt the line. He's having some good stats this year. He's a disruptive player. I would maybe double him in certain scenarios, but he's the only guy I really look at this defensive line and I'm really afraid of.
Yeah, they got Jeffrey Simmons and Naquan Jones and Tier Tart. I mean, these guys up front.
Autry.
Yeah,
he's on the injured list, all right.
Right.
But if they choose to go after Josh Allen, blitz Josh Allen, this is a classic don't blitz Josh Allen kind of game, right? Because he's going to make those guys miss, and then you've got open guys all over the field somewhere because you chose to blitz, right? So if you bring that pressure, this is classic. Josh Allen's going to have a huge day because you tried to blitz him. So even if they don't blitz him, we just said that there's mismatches all over the field with our receiving core being what it is and their defense playing like it is right now. So it doesn't bode well at all for Tennessee to me. On defense versus our offense, I agree with Sterling. Their game plan is definitely pound the rock, stick to what you do best, let Derrick Henry, control the game, try and control the pace, which nobody's been able to do against our Buffalo Bills. But if they do that on offense, I have no answer for them on defense. I mean, I don't know how they stop our offense. I don't think they can. I honestly don't think that there is something I can say that the defense of Tennessee can do to stop this offense. They are mismatched and outpaced in every way in this. And
we'll see how it progresses. I mean, lots of film out there. I wonder if a team like Tennessee who runs a 3-4 will try to confuse Spencer Brown at right tackle, right? Rookie right tackle, has a big role for this team. I mean, it helps that Josh Allen can see that side of the line. So if he does miss something, he can make a move. But that's something that I think teams will look at and try to exploit when you look at.
But he's been playing very well.
So far, so good, right? Chris Jones was out. That really helps. But we'll see how that progresses moving forward.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano are going to bring to the table in terms of stopping the run. I mean, there was a play where not Matt Milano, but Tremaine Edmonds really just went to the outside and just destroyed Clyde Edwards-Helaire on a stretch run. Tremaine Edmonds is playing out of his mind this year, man, and it's been really, really amazing to see that he's not, he's not hesitant. He's playing just loose, and he's fierce, and he's trusting his instincts. We talked about that earlier in the offseason that Tremaine needed to trust his instincts, and he's proven to do that. And so it'll be interesting to see how our linebackers hold up against a run.
Right.
But it comes down to tackling and your run fits, man. You have to be disciplined. You got to contain, the quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, but you got to be disciplined, and limiting Derrick Henry. And once you do that, you want to make Tennessee one-dimensional, where their play action pass game is you want to get them in, and like I said, long down the distance. And I think if you do that, you're going to apply the pressure. And I think, you can.
Here's a stat.
Go ahead.
Buffalo has held their opponents to a quarterback rating of 60.7 so far this season, which leads the NFL.
Wow.
Tannehill's struggling, so I think, it plays right into their system. But
absolutely.
The Bills have a target on their back, so, teams will prepare extra, right? They'll put in the extra effort. I think it's a primetime game. Nobody wants to get embarrassed on primetime at home, right?
I can't wait to see how much of that stadium is filled with Bills Mafia, though, because we knew 2 years ago when we had fans, that place was wiped with Bills. It was all Bills Mafia, literally everywhere the eye could see. I've never seen that much blue and red at an opponent's game, at an opponent's stadium away. So excited to see. I know Bills Mafia is going to show up again, and that the stadium might be cheering in the end of the day for
Wilson asks,
for the Bills.
What don't we lead the NFL in?
Yeah.
Not a bad point.
Turnovers.
They're first in points scored allowed per game. They're first in points allowed per game. They're first in turnover ratio. There's another one. Average starting field position. I mentioned earlier, they're first in that. They're first in opponent average yards per game. A couple 2s and 3s in here, but penalties are 16th. So there's your answer. 16th.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, we just saw that game.
Okay, so let's kind of go to our predictions for the game. What do you guys have for a prediction?
My score prediction for this one, I have the Bills winning in typical Bills fashion, 34-17. I think that
go
it's
50.
They could potentially do that, but I think that the run game of Tennessee at least slows that down a little. I do expect Tennessee to maybe get at least a couple of touchdowns here to get to 17 points. Maybe one of them's a garbage time, trying to come back touchdown. But the Bills can do, I expect them to continue to pace and do what they do, and scoring 34 points is what they do.
Okay.
All right,
Eric?
I'll go 38-28 because I think Derrick Henry can score some points. They can keep control on offense, keep Josh Allen off the field if they want. But with Josh Allen's big playability, I think they still get 38, but I'll throw 28 for Tennessee.
Also a high-scoring game, so I'm going to go 41. I'm going to go 40. I'm going to go 41-14 in this game.
There you go.
41-16. 41-16 is what I'll go with. I think the Bills are going to come out and establish dominance early, and it's going to come from the in the trenches, the line of scrimmage. They've been known to win so far this year. In the games that they've played, and I think this game's not going to be any different. I think you're going to see pressure from the edge. I think Leslie Frazier's going to dial up some good blitz packages, and I think they're going to be patient. They're not going to just go crazy, but you're going to see them with a level of patience on the offensive side of the ball. I think, the fact Dawson Knox had a career game last game with 3 receptions and 117 yards and a touchdown, I think we're going to see him, build upon that. So I think Josh Allen's finding more.
Here's the real question.
Go ahead.
Will the Bills extend their NFL record streak of 14 games leading at the half?
Absolutely.
To 15 games leading at the half. I can't believe when they said that, I'm like, half. Is that really an NFL record? It's really only 14 games. All those Tom Brady teams, all those Peyton Manning teams, they never led in the half for more than 14 games. It seems out of place, but it is true, and that record now belongs to our Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to be winning 21-10 at the half. That's just my prediction. I just think that Josh Allen can really get out fast, get out early. It's a Monday night game. We've seen what Josh Allen's been able to do on Monday Night Football. We can go back and look at the San Francisco game. Josh Allen with the big lights is showing to be a damn good quarterback in the prime time.
Speaking of score predictions, I nailed the shutout versus the Texans. And this week against Kansas City, I was 3 points off from the final score there. So we'll see if I'm able to do it again this week. I certainly hope so. Hell, I hope Sterling's right instead, and we whoop them by even more. But 20 points, Eric. Come on, you're giving him 28 points.
I mean, that's Eric, teams can get garbage time scores, right?
Yeah, but that's it. Come on, the Bills are giving up 12 point something points per game right now, and you're giving Tennessee 28. All right.
I mean, but I don't know if they've played an offense like Tennessee. This might be the best offense they've played, even though they're playing poorly. I mean, there's some players on this team: AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones if he's healthy. Those are some real threats.
Yeah, they are real threats.
Yeah.
They are real threats. But I think
so
the Bills can start. The Bills need to start off fast and get a lead, and then sick the demons on Ryan Tannehill. Come out that pass, make them one-dimensional, and then make them have to pass to beat you. I think the Bills, if they can get physical with their wide receivers, they only got 2 that are worth mentioning, right? Chester Rogers, I'm not worried about. You got Taron Johnson and so forth, but I think the Bills can handle them. John DeMarchi said he's those Buffalo 14-3 last 17, including playoffs, and 585 PF
points for,
and then 336 points against, plus 240.
That's a huge point differential.
49. Yeah. The Pats were 16-0 in 2007 and were 589 points for and 274 points against.
Yeah, the Bills are
plus 315 for context.
Right, the Bills are plus 108 right now. This is like Madden right now. It's like you ever create your player, you're the quarterback, and then you go and jump over teams. And, Josh Allen's made this team a Madden team.
So we want to encourage, we're not going to do our picks on the show, but we want to encourage you guys to go to tallysite.com, and this is where you can find all of our picks. We're kind of hard pressed for time this week, but all of our, Eric, Anthony, we're all, the Hoof podcast is killing it. Cover 1, our guys are killing it. So tallysite.com, you can find all of our picks against the spread. You can find our money lines and etc. But before we go, we're going to let Anthony Romeo do his 5 for 5, and then we are going to sign out and peace out and get ready for this Monday Night Football. So Anthony, we're going to let you take it away.
All right, let's do this once again, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, the last few weeks, 3 weeks in a row, we went 4-1, 4-1, 4-1, and this week now we are at it again. We went 3-1 and a tie. Technically, Green Bay, they did not cover the spread, but they did not lose either. They won by 3, and that game was wild if you watched it. So our first tie this year, but ties, you get your money back, so I'm okay with that. This week's 5 for 5, some crazy spreads out there. The point lines are a little bit exciting. I'm going to start with my number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars, getting 3.5 points against the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have looked terrible lately, and we know they're dealing with injuries, and they've just kind of gone completely off the rails. They just gave up a ton of points to Tampa Bay. Jacksonville slowly on the uphill, but 3.5 was just enough points for me to like this spread. I think Jacksonville could end up winning this game, but even if they lose, it's going to be a close one. So I'm going to take Jacksonville plus 3.5 versus Miami. My number 4 pick of the week, remember I go in order, increasing in my confidence here. Number 4 is the Cincinnati Bengals plus 3.5 points at Detroit, away at Detroit. Detroit's a team that finds unique ways to lose games, and I think Cincy has been playing very hot of late. They just played Green Bay in that exciting game. Getting 3.5 points here, I think even if they were to lose, it's going to be pretty close again. So I'll take Cincy plus 3.5 all day as my number 4 pick. Coming in at number 3, and trust me, I wanted to put this one higher. It's the Buffalo Bills minus 5.5 at the Tennessee Titans. You just heard my prediction. I think the Bills win this one big on Monday Night Football. And 5.5, I mean, come on, not even a touchdown spread in this game. You've got to put some money on the Bills at minus 5.5. That's my number 3 pick. My number 2 pick, this one was hard for me to believe too. The Arizona Cardinals, undefeated, getting points, 2.5 points at the Browns. I know that Cleveland put up a lot of points, but they also gave up a lot of points. And that Arizona offense is pretty hot themselves, even though they had a down week in 1 week. For them to be getting points at all in this game, it seems lopsided to me. So I had them at number 2, the Cardinals getting 2.5 at the Browns. And my number 1 pick of the week, the big bet of the week, is the Dallas Cowboys minus 4.5 at the Patriots. The Dallas Cowboys, their offense has been absolutely elite of late. The Patriots have been dismal. They just made the Texans look like an actual NFL football team, which they are not. And this game is going to be completely lopsided. I expect Dallas to go off for over 40 points in this game. They're going to win it big. So to be minus 4.5, that to me is my big bet of the week. So there's my 5 again. I'll give it to you. The Jacksonville Jaguars plus 3.5 versus Miami. The Cincinnati Bengals plus 3.5 at Detroit. The Bills minus 5.5 at Tennessee on Monday Night Football. The Cardinals plus 2.5 at the Browns. And the Cowboys minus 4.5 at the Patriots. Let's get it, guys. Let's win this 5 for 5. Let's get that big money jackpot this week and hit all 5.
So there you have it. That's going to conclude our coverage for the week, man. We are excited. We hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to Hoof Podcast and the Cover One Network. Make sure you also check us out and hit us up on at the Hoof Live, thehooflive@gmail.com if you want to enter into our jersey giveaway. We did give out a jersey this week to one of our loyal listeners. So we're going to be doing that every 4 weeks, man. But we just want to say, make sure you guys are living a good life, enjoying yourself stress-free as much as you can. Continue to eat the food that you like to eat and enjoy your family. With all that being said, we just want to give you guys a go Bills, and we out of here.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.